emergency first responders and citizen volunteers who acted to help the stranded and take the calls of those at risk. Since the flood, our office has received more than 100 public information requests, many from members of the press, and many others from attorneys, law firms, and investigative entities. These requests range from 911 call data to response protocols and emergency alerts. We've been busy. I understand that they are seeking answers on behalf of their clients, as they have every right to do, and we are cooperating with that. But I do want to be candid. I'm a local attorney and serve as a county judge with a very small staff. We've got one coordinator. I want the public to know that we are doing the best we can, and we will be transparent. We will get out all the facts. We will provide documentation about what the county did, how it coordinated with the sheriff's office, and what actions were taken during the disaster. We have nothing to hide, and we ask for patience as we work through this process responsibly and thoroughly. I also want to acknowledge the strength of our Kerr County community, those we lost, those who stepped forward to help, and the many individuals and organizations across Texas and the nation who offered to support in our darkest hours. To the families of those that we've lost and recovered, and to the families still awaiting word on their missing loved ones, and on behalf of our entire community, I extend our deepest sympathies. Our hearts remain with you during this painful and difficult time. Our community is still grieving. That grief will remain for a long time, but we've begun the road to recovery. Today, we gather to ask what happened, what was done, and what must be done better when disasters this magnitude strike rural counties. We are not too proud to ask for help and how to do it better. As county judge, I serve as the head of the emergency management and preside over the county commissioner's court. Like many in our county, my family has built our life along the Guadalupe River. I offer with transparency because they do not know how this county is or how the river behaves. I share these details many have asked. Where were you? Why hasn't the county been better prepared? Why wasn't there an evacuation order? My wife was at home during the early hours of July 4th while I was at our lake house preparing for a family gathering. On the afternoon and evening of July 3rd, nothing felt out of the ordinary in Kerr County. Families were arriving, camps were in session, 4th of July celebrations were underway along the river. My plans, like many others, reflected the same routine on the lake. We received no alerts suggesting an extreme weather event was imminent. For context, we received hundreds of alerts during the summer. This past July, we had over 80. My first indication that the storm was different came when I woke up to texts and calls from Chief Kidd, Sheriff Letha, and Dalton Rice. We now know that by that time the flooding had already overtaken Camp Mystic, Heart of the Hills, and La Junta, and several other upriver camps, something I could never have imagined. This extreme weather event was not forecast by the National Weather Service in a timely manner. Based on the volume and tone of the messages, I recognized that something more serious and potentially tragic was unfolding. I quickly gathered my things and contacted our emergency management coordinator, Doug Thomas, who was en route to the sheriff's office. Together, we agreed to the disaster declaration, which went into effect verbally, and I signed when I got back to town. We are committed to understanding what happened and doing better. We stand with you with clear eyes and ready hands. Let me speak briefly about how Kerr County has come into our emergency preparedness. In fact, I'll skip over that part. We brought Doug Thomas in as our emergency management coordinator in 2015. That was our first step to try to get better prepared, and he has been invaluable. And I actually took my Citizens Emergency Response Team course from Doug. When the call comes, we respond. That is how our system works, through coordination and shared responsibility and a team approach among my office, the sheriff, and the emergency coordinators in the county. To better understand what happened, Kerr County commissioned an independent hydrology study from Waterway Engineering. It confirmed that this was a 1,000-year flood, and I've attached a copy of that hydrology assessment to my remarks. They're at the back, and very much worth studying. This was a storm unlike anything seen in our county before. It stalled over the South Fork watershed in Hunt and Moe Ranch, far from the population centers and in the location with very few rain monitors or flood gauges. The storm dumped more than 12 inches of rain in under 6 hours. That is not a typical for our weather patterns, which tend to move in and out quickly. This storm sat. It did not pass through. It overwhelmed the watershed. River flows at Hunt exceeded 220,000 cubic feet per second. Water rose more than 20 feet per hour. And by the time flooding became visible downstream, upstream communities, including multiple youth camps, were already underwater. This study confirmed what we saw on the ground. This was not foreseeable using today's detection systems. It was not forecasted by the National Weather Service or TDM. It was not expected by our emergency response team. And it is exactly the kind of scenario that reveals the urgent need for stronger tools, better detection, and modernized infrastructure, especially in rural communities like ours. The first 911 call to Kerr County Dispatch came from the River Inn Resort at 2:53 a.m. I don't know how many of you know where the River Inn is. It's way out there. And in that call, they were not concerned. They said the water was up on their little dam that they have for the swimming hole.
Judge, can I stop you 1 second? I was notified that the witness mics are not going through the feed. Is someone watching the feed? So Senate Committee is working on it, so thank you.
Okay. Go ahead. Okay, better? Shortly after that call at 2:53, Deputy Green checked in and shared that he would survey the river and check low water crossings. The Hunt Volunteer Fire Department started door-to-door evacuations. One deputy became landlocked. Another rushed to Highway 39 to check and begin closing that road. By approximately 3:30 a.m., floodwaters had overtaken multiple crossings. We understood that we were facing a historic event. State and federal partners soon arrived, including the U.S. Coast Guard, Texas Game Wardens, TDM, and DPS, helped us coordinate a multi-agency rescue and recovery effort. Our local responder deputies, EMS, Texas DPS, and volunteer fire departments from Hunt, Centerpoint, Ingram, and Mountain Home acted with urgency and courage, putting their lives at risk. Hundreds of rescues were carried out by boat, by air, from rooftops, trees. At the time, we had only 6 deputies on shift and limited swiftwater resources, but we acted with everything we had. Lessons and recommendations. This flood took 108 lives, including 37 children. 2 remain missing. This is the most devastating event in Kerr County history. I say the first thing we need to do is get better real-time flood detection warning systems. Kerr County's applied for multiple grants to support these expensive systems, and we would like for those to be reconsidered. Secondly, we need stronger support for the rural emergency management, including staffing, swift water rescue equipment, and more training for our first responders. Rural counties face the same expectations as urban centers, but with far fewer resources. Finally, we need stronger communications and better broadband so that we can communicate better. There is very poor cell service out in West Kerr County and virtually no broadband, and even if people wanted to call downriver and warn folks, they didn't have the ability to do it. Plus, the 911 tapped out, and when they get too many calls, it just rotates to another county, to another county. It ended up in Seguin, of all places. And so, in conclusion, Kerr is a better place, is a place of beauty and resilience, is a place we want everyone to have the opportunity to experience and enjoy. What we experienced on July 4th was sudden, violent, and overwhelming, but we responded, we grieved, and we are building. Kerr County is ready to do the work, learn from this tragedy, and with your support, be better prepared for the next time the river rises. Thank you, and I look forward to answering the committee's questions.